Hello, everybody. We're here with assistant coach Ty Eustace this week on Inside Davidson Wrestling. Ty, how you doing?
Good.
Ty, you guys had a busy weekend. Sent some guys to the Appalachian Open, and you guys wrestled Chattanooga on Sunday. We'll start with the Appalachian Open, where you guys had 4 guys place: Tyler, Tanner, Jaden, Dylan. Let's start with Tyler. Really big weekend. Went 5-1, took third. Avenged his one loss on the weekend, coming back in that third place match and grinding that out. So just talk about, his growth. I know we talk about him a lot each week, but, he's got 18 wins on the year as a freshman.
Yeah. Nothing surprises us with him. We know what kind of ability he has, and also his mindset. He's very workmanlike. Like, he comes in the room every day, you know exactly what you're going to get. You're going to get a guy that wants to be here, he wants to work hard, he wants to wrestle hard. So he's the same guy in competition, which is that's what we're striving for. And so we're not surprised by anything good that he does. But what we want him to do is just keep getting better and keep loving the sport. And that's how he's going to reach his goals. But yeah, he had a good day. It was a really good weight class. It was probably the best, deepest weight class there. And we identified some guys that were really good for him to wrestle. That was part of why he went to the tournament. And he got to wrestle a couple of them. And like you said, the one match that he avenged was a very highly rated recruit that's at Virginia Tech redshirting right now. And so really good experience for him to wrestle that kid and to come out on top. Just a really good sign of where he's at progress-wise.
Now let's talk about Tanner. Big weekend for him. I know there's that stretch there. He's in a lot of overtime matches. He's gutting out a lot of tough losses, but, goes 3-1, takes third, gets that win percentage back up a little bit. So just talk about, what you need from him down the stretch here.
Same thing. Like, keep improving. There's some really small positions that Tanner has to do better. And that's kind of the message for him. I mean, he's always going to compete. He's always going to wrestle hard. He has a ton of heart. He's in good shape. He's strong. He loves to be out there. But technically, there's some things that he's just having to get better at if he's going to turn some of these results around. So, having those 2 guys go there was more about, like, getting their matches up. And for Tanner, just getting more reps. Like, get out there, score some points. Let's get into a flow. And, coming off that Campbell win, it was good for him to just be out there and wrestle more. That's why we sent him there.
Yeah, absolutely. And he started off the week really hot, 2 tech falls, and probably get that confidence up. Up next with Dylan, a freshman that Nate talked a little bit about last week. Someone that you guys were looking to see how he was developing.
Yeah.
Looked like he had a pretty good weekend. Went 3-1 and took third.
Yeah, again, like, we see what he can do in the room, so we're not surprised. We love seeing him compete. A situation where he's had some injuries kind of nagging him all year. He needs matches. When you're a freshman, he's behind some good older guys there in the top of the lineup. He just needs matches, and so he's getting them. I mean, when he's going to tournaments, he's getting his money's worth for sure, and it's fun to see him go out and score points. And we expect him to just keep getting better and better and try to make a name for himself. Probably next year.
Last one with App Open, you guys got your captain back with Jaden Hardrick, getting some action. Took 4th at 174. What does his return mean for the team, and what does he bring to the mat?
Well, it's huge. Like, between him and Bryce, they have all this varsity experience, and we haven't hardly had those guys in the lineup. So getting them back and being healthy and being in the room and being a great example for this really young team that we have is big. And so seeing Jaden go there, getting into competition, it's different, right? Like, you're working back from an injury, you're trying to heal up, you're trying to find some confidence. You got to take that first step and go to a tournament and wrestle some live matches. And so getting that out of the way, I think it's just going to continue to help him here build the rest of the season. But he's hungry, and so we'll get all that figured out. But he just kind of had to take this first step and get out there and find some live competition.
Now let's transition over to Chattanooga. Guys got off to a little bit of a slow start, but then you guys finished strong, taking 4 of those last 5. And let's start with Bryce and Mark. Bryce avenged a hard-fought loss against Campbell, and Mark gets another win at 174. So I guess talk a little bit about, Bryce's ability to rebound, and then, Mark's kind of his journey from last year, 157, 165, and now doing a lot at 174.
Yeah, Bryce, we know what Bryce has to offer. He's got to stay healthy, continue to do the right things, but when he's feeling good, man, he can beat some really good people. And he had him and Mark both had some very talented competition at Chattanooga. We knew what we were getting into there at 65-74. That's why it felt so good to win those 2 matches. Those guys are talented. They expect to win, and they've been doing some winning this year. So Bryce came out, got taken down, and that's why I told him after the match, like, hey, that's a really big deal that you come out, you get taken down. I'm just going to get the next escape, and I'm going to get the next points. And he did that. And that's a sign of a guy that's had, a lot of varsity matches. But just a great leader for us to kind of show that, like, hey, you're going to get thrown down sometimes in this sport. How you get up does matter. So he got up, felt really good after that Campbell match, I think, just to get out there and get back on a winning track. Again, he's capable of a lot. He's just got to continue to do the little things that make him good. So that was good to see, and he felt good about himself and kind of got us off on a little run there. And then Mark came out. Again, Mark's a little between weights right now, I would kind of say. He's filled in for us at 65. He'll wrestle 74 whenever we ask him to. He would wrestle anywhere, honestly, if we told him to do it. And he's a competitor, and that's why we wanted him in this program. He's brought so much to this program already, just in the number of times he's wrestled for Davidson is pretty incredible in a year and a half. And so he went out, beat a very talented kid, a bigger kid, and so that was a big win. That was a really big win for Mark. He's not weighing as much as that kid was, but at the end of the day, sometimes it just doesn't matter. He just hung in there, kind of outlasted the kid, and did what he had to do to get a win, and he felt good, and that really helped us.
Yeah, now let's talk about the last 2 wins for you guys. Wyatt at 184 getting his 3rd straight. He's now 2-0 in SoCon action. Then Jake handled business at heavyweight. So I guess Nate talked a little bit about Wyatt last week, but what are you seeing from those 2 guys specifically?
Yeah, Wyatt's just kind of adapting to Division I college wrestling, right? Came from an awesome state of Ohio, was a state runner-up, almost placed at some really big high school tournaments. He was always on that borderline, and that's where we identified him as this is a guy that it hasn't broken through yet, right? And so that was the plan, is he's got something, we got to just help him find another level. So he, by no means was he a finished product when he got here. He's a true freshman wrestling at a big weight class, right? He's running into some grown men, and he's just learned how to adapt to that. And it's just a continual learning process. He's got a great person in Marcus that is really kind of helping him with a lot of technical things. We're just trying to help him mature as a competitor. This is a different level of wrestling. But seeing him get better every time he goes out there is really cool. And so he got his hand raised. Was a big deal. We got 3 in a row there. Just really quieted the crowd down, which is kind of what we needed. Everyone started looking around whoa, what's going on here? This is 3 in a row. This wasn't an accident, right? But we know we have some really tough guys there through the middle of the lineup, and just fun to see Wyatt feel good about himself and gain confidence. And you can see the changes coming for him, and we hope he just breaks through at the right times, right?
Yeah, and then you get the exclamation point with Jake there, with the 4-point near fall, and kind of closing things out on a really strong note. And I know he's been kind of a journeyman, and he's trying to end his senior year on a strong note. Just talk about his development and kind of his mindset here in his senior year.
Yeah, I mean he stayed healthy all year, which was our main goal for him. Last year was a really tough year with injuries for Jake. So our goal, hey, let's just be healthy, use the season to kind of work our way towards that SoCon tournament, and he's doing that. He's looking better when he goes out on the mat. Coach Nate had some history with that heavyweight. I think Nate maybe even coached him at one point at Lock Haven. I could be wrong, but so we knew a little bit about him as a heavyweight. We knew that Jake could have some success against him in certain positions. But yeah, anytime you see heavyweights putting up that many points, kind of turns some heads. So Jake's wrestling harder right now, and he's coming on hopefully at the right time. And again, good to see his hand get raised. We won 4 out of 10 matches, 4 out of the last 5, like you said. That's a good way to kind of leave that gym. And we didn't have Tyler or Tanner, on the bus with us. So we felt really good about the way that we wrestled. Our guys, even in defeat, man, they were fighting. We were threatening them. We were kind of forcing the action. We looked good as a team, especially coming off a bus, in their home gym. We felt good about the way that we left there. We just a lot of pride. A lot of it is how you compete, and leave an impression on our SoCon opponents, because we're going to see them all again on March 9th. And so we did. We felt took some good things from the duel.
Yeah, now up next on Friday night here, you guys got Bellarmine coming to town, and they're off to a good start. Undefeated on the year, they're 2-0 in SoCon action. They have defeated Presby and Gardner-Webb this past weekend. So last year they came into Duke as well and beat us. So how are you guys preparing for them, and what's the message to the team this week?
Yeah, so it's my old college teammate's the head coach, Coach Ned Shuck. We're both from Southern Minnesota. We both wrestled at the University of Iowa, and he took over there a few years ago, and he's done a really good job. He is getting recruits that kind of match his style, and guys are coming in there. They work really hard. They're still in that transition phase, which is tough, and that's not our problem, right? Like we don't care, we want to win these matches, and last year they did. They came in and they kind of outworked us, and so how we're approaching is, hey, we got to be prepared. These guys are going to come and fight, and they're going to wrestle really, really hard for 7 minutes. So there's no, they're not in our conference at the conference tournament on March 9th, but this is still a really important duel. This is a SoCon opponent. They beat us last year. They're going to wrestle really hard. We need to be ready. This isn't something that we take lightly at all. We know that they're tough kids, and we got to be ready to go.
Well, Ty, I appreciate you taking the time and talking a little Davidson wrestling with us.
Always. Thanks.